That should be true.
You should be able to do that by heart.
But that's, fire
That's
dues.
center,
That's Center Point.
Center Point.
Palmerdale is 1,600.
There's one for Palmerdale at the top.
They
Oh, okay, I
got two
see, see.
checks.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is 2024 fire dues.
Did we?
Okay. All right, so the,
Separated.
okay, so, oh, the ones that we've just caught
bills, maybe?
now? All right, so we've got some fire dues down there. The one on Center Point Fire District at the bottom, the 4693.62, that is fire dues. The 1637, Marie, what was that? That's the first Center Point Fire District one.
That's, I think that's like some initial 2025 that's coming in.
Okay, all right, so there's two sets of fire dues there on
Yeah,
that.
the 1,600 from Palmerdale is fire dues.
The 4600?
No, the 1,600. Give me a second. I'm almost there. The
Oh, she's right, there's a second, there's two from each.
the 46 is the EMS service for y'all know what I'm saying.
Pride of the Valley scenario thing. Chris, was that the 2 years worth, or what was the story on that? Okay. Did you get a chance to look over? Huh? You might want to look over it right quick. We happen to have some folks from the fire department here tonight. We can just ask them while they're here.
We did have a remaining balance of 1,400 from 2023.
Okay.
And then the rest of that is from 2024.
Okay, that's what it was
Yeah.
on the thing right there, 'cause
Yeah.
okay, so does everybody understand that now? The 4,600 is Pride of the Valley, but it's Pride of the Valley from 2023 and 2024. So
Right.
about 2/3 is this year, 1/3 last year.
Yes.
Okay. All right, were there anything for any other questions there, folks? All right. The Shred-a-thon's gonna be this Saturday, so I'll make sure we plug that. Everybody, we got a couple of days here to be getting their stuff together, so we'll make sure we mention that. I'm gonna announce tonight the phone lines will be open, for veterans to go ahead and start calling in and making their reservations on for the Veterans Day event. So that is the only way we take, Eric, is that the way they have to register, is by phone, or how do we want them? Tell me now and I'll repeat it later.
I think that's the safest way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them don't do email or text, so
Okay.
phone is the best way. They can email us, though, at our admin email account.
Okay.
We are asking for their address this time, just so we have a record, not because they're in the city, out of the city, doesn't really matter. We may want to send out a card Christmas card or an invitation next year. That's the idea behind it, so. Okay?
Call City
We've got a record of most of them from the past. We just want to make sure we add their addresses to it so we can send them something.
I'm making some notes here.
Before I,
All right. Let's see here. On the mayor's report, I'm going to make an announcement. I was at the Jefferson County Mayors Association meeting yesterday, and they've made a very nice gift that they're giving to the high school on behalf of Mayor Cochran. So anyway, I'll make a nice talk about that during that. Also, give you guys a quick update. Also, we're looking at the traffic lights. There's a lot of, as they refer to it, in LDOT refers to it, the luminaires. I thought that was a character in one of the Disney movies, but basically what we would call the street lights that hang off the poles where the traffic lights are. There's several of them out around town, and so I've started making a map and directions and stuff for them, and they're going to come out and light this place back up. So I guess maybe it'll coincide when we flip the switch for our Christmas lights. This place will show up from outer space out there with all the lights coming on around here. So let's see. I may think of something else, but I'm not sure about on the mayor's report. Next to be on the open council seat. So what I'd like for us to do is basically announce tonight that anyone who's interested to send in a letter basically saying you're interested along with your resume, and those are to be sent to our clerk, not to me, but to, it's okay to send it to me too, but to be official, it must go to the clerk, either by in person, mail, or email, okay? Any of those techniques. Not a phone call though, because she don't want to sit down and write down anybody's resume.
What's the clerk's email? Are we gonna send it to the admin?
You can do that, or it's just M. Turner
Okay.
at the City of Pinson.
Cause I'll post it. like
Okay,
we did
good,
with the-
good.
I'll
Yeah.
post it for the position.
Let's see here. Okay, next, what do we got to do in here? Okay, good, we're doing good on time here. Eric, is Heather here? Yes. Okay, good. So you guys want to come up and talk a bit about this payroll outsourcing thing? I know last time we talked about getting some proposals together, and you guys were Johnny on the spot, and we want to hear what all y'all learned.
Heather's coming under protest, so just you know. All right, so.
I just have his back, that's all.
So we entertained two companies. Our accountant recommended two different companies, Paycheck and ADP. He assured us we couldn't go wrong with either one. So we went in with an open mind, knowing that, Paychex is the smaller of the version, okay? They're designed for smaller companies. He's dealt with them in several smaller groups, 40 less employees, 50 or less employees. Didn't tell us that pretty much. We also reached out to the Clerks Association and got recommendations from who they used and, their process and who they recommended, and they all came back with ADP. All of the municipalities that have outsourced use ADP. There's another one that's in the mix, but they're a small version as well. Web Payroll, I think is the name of it. They're a little bit more local. So you have both of these proposals in front of you. We listened to both of them. We met with both of them. As we went through, and I can't highlight for you, but what ADP came back with, we recommend ADP. We do. Okay? You guys pick what you want, okay? Because we give you two options. We felt more comfortable with what came back from ADP for the simple fact that Paychex, everything that they were going to charge us or discount us was not listed on this contract. and I have the emails to associate with it to show you what she said we could take off. But forgive me if it raised a red flag. If it's not in the contract, it's a little bit hard for me to sign the dotted line. So I'm going to give that to you so you'll see it. But the whole thing in a nutshell is that ADP is a bigger company. They manage every portion of this. All we do is we're going to supply the money to pay, of course. We also want to create a separate account, just like we did for the merchant account, so they can't touch our general fund. She would transfer with the stroke of a pen, we can electronically the amount that's needed to pay payroll biweekly. Everything associated with it when you add your numbers up, I'll let Heather talk a little bit more about that. We got them both highlighted, but we felt very comfortable that this overall $7,000 a year, we're probably paying $5 or to $6. It's very hard to decipher, and I can give you that information too from Tyler. It's like reading a treasure map if you want to know to decipher. So I believe I have deciphered how much we'll save. So it's realistically a wash. Now, that is just a financial expenditure that we're paying for the service. That does not include the hours, the mental anguish, the troubles. We've had errors, the learning curves that go along with managing payroll, the missed deadlines, the missed filings maybe, or, there's a lot of things that come into play when you do your own. And Heather can add more to that. But I'm going to let you see this so you'll have it for your comparison.
So Heather,
Who's from-
they keep track of the changes in the law and
Absolutely, yes.
this overtime pay
They do all the
calculations and
updates on the
stuff?
taxes every year. The only thing that we would be responsible for at that point is we would still approve the payroll hours that employees are clocked in and out with. And then I would be responsible for taking their file that they've paid payroll and putting it back into our system. So we keep up with it on our end. I do want to add that with ADP, we don't sign a contract with them. Their take on it was, actually the girl that came out with ADP used to work for Paychex for about, what did she say, 15 years or so? So she was very familiar with Paychex as well. But they don't make you sign a contract because their philosophy is that they want to keep a good relationship with their customers. So if we went with them, we decided it wasn't a good fit for us, and we wanted to try something else, we're not bound by a contract, but we still have that open relationship with them if we want to come back to them at some point. So we thought that was kind of neat that they do it that way. If you look at the pricing, they kind of break it down per employee. With Paychex, it broke down to $615 per employee. With ADP, it was $736 per employee. But if you'll scroll down a little bit more and look at the year-end W-2s, 1099s, for Paychex, it was $8 per. With ADP, it was $525 per. So you can look at all the numbers and see, one's a little higher than the other one, one's a little lower than the other one. As far as their services, they pretty much offer the same stuff, same employee portals, the same ways to clock in and out. There wasn't a whole lot of differences in that stuff. However, with the quote that we got from ADP, you'll notice that they quoted us on 80 employees, where Paychex quoted us on 40. So the numbers with ADP would actually come down. And they recommend that you give or take a little bit in case, we hire more for future growth or whatever. So we wouldn't actually take it down to the actual number of employees we have. We would probably go like, say, 50. That way, we've got a little bit of wiggle room to hire more if we need more, and it doesn't cost anything more than what we're already paying, so.
And we do expand in the seasonal years, you know, we expand during the summer, so.
Is it compatible with our current time clocks that we just bought?
I'll let you speak on that part of it.
No, neither one. They'll take the information if we want to use it, they can add it if we want, but ADP doesn't use time clocks. They use an app, they use a workstation to log in with. The Paychex had a different one. They both would waive, I mean, we've had those for a little over, we had them over a year or so, I think, so. We spent about $1,400, I think it was, for somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm just throwing a dart there.
And they said that most companies that they're servicing are getting away from the actual
Yeah, they just
time
do
clocks.
they do the app with a geolocation.
Yeah,
on
Well,
it.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have,
Yeah.
that, they were
Yeah.
very big on the geofencing, so
Yeah.
that you could set a parameter that employees had to be within that area to be able to clock in and out, so that, you know, we can make sure that nobody's sitting at home on the couch clocking in, or,
Clock in
whatever.
from Starbucks. What are you talking about?
Ours has that already. The
Parking
time
fee.
clocks that we
Parking
use
fee.
now, they have that same app,
Yeah.
that same thing, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't a deal breaker for us. We had a few that we felt we might need it, you know, there's some public works or maybe some park and rec people that probably needed a place that they could clock in at. And I've had some others that had trepidation about using their own phone for that.
Well, and
Okay.
what we would do in that instance is we would have an iPad or either a workstation that we would set up in that location for people that weren't comfortable using their phone. They would be able to go to that actual, you know, whatever we set up there and clock in and out that way.
This is like, just a single app, so it's not, we don't have to buy the fanciest app.
Oh, no.
We might even be able to repurpose some of
Yeah.
our older ones or something.
No, and then also I want to say that the implementation part of it, that was another big thing for us, that we didn't want, if we're going to be able to go with one of these two places, we don't want something that's going to take 6 months
Or even 6 weeks.
or 6 weeks or whatever.
We wanted it done before the end of the year, so that we asked, that was a specific question, whether they could handle the end of the year, into this calendar year.
Paychex said that they would have us up and going in about a 2-week time frame. ADP was pretty much about the same thing. So the only thing that they said with both of their main companies were in areas that were hit with the hurricanes. So they were, you know, a couple of days behind, but they said it wouldn't make much of a difference at all. So once we tell them that we want to go with them, they'll get started right away. I've got a list of things that they'll need from us to get started, and then it would be about a 2-week period of time. We would start fresh with whatever that next payroll period would be.
Our auditors and the accountant all recommended that we outsource payroll, if you remember. So we looked into this about 18 months ago, and the previous mayor wasn't too keen on it because we had the software. Of course, we think we've come to that, just like we did with Tyler Park and Rec. We came to an end that we know that we need to, you know, make a change
And we can
there.
cancel that part on Tyler, right? The payroll part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and I've got some rough numbers for that too, about what we would save. And I say it's a wash, but when you add up the hours and things that come with that, you know, I don't even know. I can't even put a number on that, if you want to know the truth. But
Because payroll in itself is essentially a full-time job. You know, and if you want somebody to really focus on it and do it right, you know, we're all good with keeping it in-house, but if we're gonna do it that way, then we need one person that's a payroll clerk. And another person doing all the other things that I do. I can do it, but I can't do all of it exceptionally well, just to be honest with you, because something suffers somewhere in the mix.
Yeah, my goal's been to try to get the ladies where they're not having to work beyond 40 hours a week. I mean, they've been having a ridiculous amount of time
You
up
mean
there.
to tell
So
me 70 hours a week is unreasonable? What are you talking about?
I don't mind it sometimes, but when it gets to be an every week thing, that's kind of
I
an
want to say
issue.
I mind it.
So the application, this is a web-based app. It's not something we have to install on site. It's just a browser-based.
Correct.
Okay.
It's the way we understood it.
Yes, and they
Years
build it, they build it to our organization, so it's specific to the city of Pinson.
And they have tiers. They have a tier lower than this. This is the middle tier for the middle-sized business from like, I think it's
Up
from,
to 150.
yeah, and then it goes to a
Enterprise.
enterprise
maybe,
level,
yeah.
correct, and 1,000 and up. I think
This is the Workforce Now module that they quoted us on.
And this is the one Kevin, our accountant, this is
He
that's the
said-
level he liked?
He
He
would
said
not
that
recommend, he wouldn't give, we showed him
we
both.
couldn't go wrong with either one.
That's what he
You know,
said.
he
He
said
would
he's,
not-
he's
Okay.
familiar with both.
Yeah.
Even Webb, the third option
Mm-hmm.
that we could look into. He said we really couldn't go wrong with any of them, that they're all good services to use. It just depend. We kind of felt like with Paychex that eventually we would outgrow it, you know, because the idea for Pinson for the past, at least this past term, is that we're trying to grow the city. And the more we grow, the more people we get. So eventually we would outgrow Paychex if they only go to a certain amount of, and we would have to switch to a larger company anyways. So that's why we, you know, we did a smaller company, we did a larger company so that we could give you both, you know, a good picture of what it would look like with both of them. But we were comfortable with the meetings that we had with both companies. I mean, they were very
This was the
thorough.
red flag.
Yeah.
That was mine.
That's the only thing that
That's
we,
why I gave it to you. I was like,
that we didn't feel comfortable about, is that they wouldn't put those actual numbers in the quote that they gave us.
Okay.
it just gave, you know, made me pause, you know.
Mayor, I'll give you a personal 2 cents if you want it. My wife's been major corporation. She's been with ADP service for about 25 years in large companies. She's very happy with their response times to problems. It's been smooth for her. She's a good ADP fan. I know nothing about the others. I'm not trying to downplay them, but some personal experience.
Okay. So, does anybody have questions for these guys? Because like I say, they've been doing all the legwork and everything on what it was.
Yeah, I feel comfortable that they've done all the homework on it, and I would recommend whatever they recommend. Do you?
Yeah, just, the only other question that I would have is learning curve for it. And I wasn't gonna say it, but we do use ADP. Our users and our payroll department hate it.
Do you have Vantage? Do you have
I
Vantage or
don't know,
Workforce?
I don't know what it is.
Because when I sent my email earlier, ADP Vantage is a pain in your rear, but Workforce,
They asked
I've
us
heard.
about project,
did.
project accounting, more so, you know, because we don't do it. And it was capable in Tyler, but we don't use project,
Yeah,
you know, that's not what it's called, but I
Cap-
think that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Capital accounting.
Yes.
Yeah, where you charge, each person charges for what the project or account they're working on, and we don't do that, so.
but I've heard good things about Workforce.
Well, and
About
I
that-
had to do
that part
a
of it.
very
Is that
thorough.
one, the higher one that's more difficult?
It's
or
the more
lower one?
modern and user-friendly one.
Yes,
Okay.
That's-
and prior to them coming out here, I had to do a very thorough questionnaire that they sent out to us, that pretty much painted the picture of who we are, what we do, how we do it, the whole 9 yards. So then when they came out here to meet with us, they could pick the product of theirs that would have worked best for our city. And he said that, you know, based off of what I sent back in the questionnaire, that the Workforce Now would be the best fit for us, so.
And they did give us a demo, software to poke around in too, you know, to get familiar with it, so. And we can probably supply it to our employees just to look at, but it's really clocking in, clocking out for them, but it's an employee portal as well, so it's really great, because they print their own W-2s, a lot of things are available. We can do that now to an extent, but, this is much more user-friendly. This is really easy.
I think it's standard, but make sure we request that previous employees can access the portal for 18 months after they leave.
Okay.
And so that way, most time when people get audited or they do their taxes late,
Yep,
they
yep.
can still pull it.
Yeah, I asked them about historical, because that was a big deal, wanting them to do this year, because I wanted to be able to go back and give them all the records we have for this year. That was not an issue.
But you understood her question there
Yes,
about
we did.
somebody
We
current?
did,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Brad, do you have,
No,
okay. John, do you have any?
Just sooner we get it, better off we are.
Okay, so the next step, though, of course, and y'all mentioned it briefly, which would be the next step on new business, is the fact that we want to have a separate bank account. This is a similar process like what we did with our point of sale
Credit
software
card.
and everything. Right. We don't want to give this company access to our whole general fund. This would move
Correct.
it
This
over.
would strictly be a payroll account where the money for the payroll would go into that account every pay period, and then it's just a pass-through account, basically, just for the payroll.
Just to make sure somebody doesn't misplace that decimal.
Well, whatever they can take, whatever goes out can always, they can go both ways. It doesn't slow the traffic down. So if we open them up to the kingdom.
Right, right.
So,
I think that's good, Eric. Don't go too far. Heather, appreciate it.
just leave it, yes.
Let me see here. Is there someone who wants to put the outsourcing of payroll with ADP on the,
I'll do it.
okay. All right, and I need someone to put forward a motion to create a new bank account for payroll.
I'll do that too.
Okay, be careful here.
That's
Glenda's
it.
getting on a roll here. All right, the next. Okay, good. The next item is that we usually customarily have a Turn Pinson Pink Day. I was speaking with Ms. Chatta down at the elementary school a couple of days ago, and the elementary school is doing like a special emphasis. I think they actually want to call it a pink out, so they may be using a little different wording down there, but they requested October 24th. So if that's agreeable to you guys, and somebody will put that out, we will,
I'll do that.
okay. We will have our traditional pink day. All right, next is, and you gave this to everyone?
I did.
Okay, good. All right, so we're doing a little house cleaning around here. We've got some stuff that the staff has said that we're not using anymore and that we'd like to get rid of. There is another item that needs to be added on here, and that is, and it started originally with, we have a large number of football helmets that cannot be recertified. I should have asked Randy to be here to tell us about it, but they can't be recertified, so they can't be used anymore for our youth sports. And there are a lot of them, and the guys basically kind of rearranged their office back there, and it looked like they were living in a storage room. So we need to go ahead and get rid of those helmets. And so my suggestion was, I was going to get with Allison. We may want to make those available either to the players, perhaps by removing the pads so that they can't be used in a contact manner anymore. More as a trophy type thing, somebody might want to have something up on their shelf. I even had the idea perhaps of, that might be a great craft night where we might turn these into lamps or something. We could drill a hole in the top and then you turn it into a lamp or something. So we're not necessarily going to immediately run them out to the dumpster before we get with our arts and crafts and the parents just to see. But anyway, we do need to remove them from our inventory. And then Eric has got a few lawnmowers over there that we need to look at getting rid of, and a few vehicles. So they're here on this list. So Eric, if you want to talk anything about the
Well,
lawnmowers.
we pretty much took the gray Tahoe out of commission anyway because the head's blown. So it's been sitting over there. That's the 2008 Tahoe. The other two were the Crown Vic and the Tahoe. And Chris, we've kind of upgraded. We have two other Explorers. Is that what they are? Yeah. So they're just sitting there. So we thought we'd put those on the list too. And the other one was the old bucket truck that was condemned. So we had the bucket taken off, but we don't use it for a work truck, So the bucket was condemned. We were going to have to spend double what the truck was worth to have it repaired. And that's been a couple of years. We've been without a bucket truck for about 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years. So we borrow Clay's. It's kind of a hand in hand. So it works out okay so far because you can't find one that's reasonable, we don't need a new one. we need something that's reasonable, so. So we thought we'd put those on the list too. Put them up for a bid, you know, put them out there for, you know, as a bid, because that's the only way we can do it, without putting them on the YouGov Deals site, you know, do our own surplus sale. We've done that before in the past, so it's up to you guys.
I think that we could, if we could check with other municipality / government agencies like fire district or something like that. So if somebody has an interest, I think we could do a direct sale to them. But if it's to anybody other than a group like, not a group, another government.
Governmental agency,
Yeah.
It has to be, yeah.
We will need to do some type of sealed bid or do
Sure.
some type of bid program or something. So basically, there's a resolution here that would authorize me to be able to work with the staff to get these things off. So is that something that you guys are willing to?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And is there any question about any of the items that are on there? So apparently not. So, John, if you'll just add on, this will be the addendum here basically for the, or the Exhibit A, if we want to, for the items. So if you guys will just, we'll attach this, and we'll add in the football helmets. I'll get Randy to tell us we'll get a count, but it's the gold helmet, so it's pretty easy, because I think the new ones are all black. The next one here is the intergovernmental agreements here, and Mr. Black has been working on those. So basically what we've got is Mr. Cofield, the deputy superintendent, contacted me a couple of weeks ago and asked, the Board of Education has agreements with about 10 other municipalities where we share facilities. And so what we've been doing is that for the last several years, we have been, they've graciously been allowing our youth sports program to use the gym at Rudd and the gym at one of the gyms at the high school, the playing field for football, the old
That's a
softball
separate-
field across the street or something?
Yeah,
Is that on a
that's
different deal?
little separate agreement. That's
Okay.
not, yeah. that's
So
not
anyway,
part of
they've been allowing us to use several things here for our youth sports, but they'd actually like for us to have an agreement in place for that. So I sent that over to Mr. Black. Of course, his only concern is Section 5, and he wanted us to, give us a heads up that, naturally, we always are a bit averse about indemnification. But basically what this would require is that if we're using, I'll use the football field for example, if we're using the football field, someone were to get hurt up there at the game, and then they were to sue the city, they could not sue the Board of Ed. We would basically say, hey, look, we're gonna cover you on this, because their position would be well, those people wouldn't have been on the field and gotten hurt unless the city's activity was taking place. So, our situation, depending on the usage and all, we may try to negotiate our way out of that particular section. However, we don't really have much of a leg to stand on, because we don't have 2 gyms and a giant playing surface like of that quality to let our kids play on. So we really need these facilities, quite frankly. So what I would like to do is that if you guys are wanting to do this, is to reach out to our insurance vendor, see what it might cost, see if our current coverage would cover us for a leased facility, which is basically what this is. This doesn't cost us anything, but they're basically a rental agreement. And then if it's not, then perhaps we might want to get an additional rider to cover us should an event take place up there on that. Now, the same thing goes in the other direction, and Eric, we're running a little low on time, but the school has a need and on occasion, they do have need for our facilities. As y'all have known, the band boosters, I believe, has used the Rock School complex over there for their banquet. Perhaps other sports teams have done the same, or other groups.
PTA has.
PTA, yeah.
Mr. Turner and the Jefferson County Athletic Director came to see me last week and asked about, he had approached me, well, maybe it's been 2 weeks, I can't remember now. Anyway, they had approached me, asked me about this a couple of months ago. Mr. Turner did, and I didn't have an answer for him, but he wanted to use the Rock School. They're trying to bring the wrestling team, and of course I said, no, we can't, we're not doing that. But anyway, the wrestling team doesn't have a place. With the advent of the, and forgive me if I don't know the name of that program they have at the school where they focus on HVAC or welding specialties, and they bring the students in
Co-ed,
from
or not co-ed, but I know what you're saying.
career techs, and they bring students in from other locations, so they have lost their extra space. It's been gobbled up by those programs. We had stored the mats for them a year, maybe before the beginning of this year or last year. Time's a little bit blur for me, okay? And we delivered them back, but they've lost that space that we put those mats in, so they asked if we had a place. They had already approached the elementary school, Rudd, Johnson. They all have activities, and of course, we use that gym at Rudd for our recreational basketball league for games and practices. So I said, look, the only option that I have is Palmerdale, because realistically, that's what we kind of wanted to use that facility for anyway. We have once we got over the hump of moving those exercise classes over there, they've exploded. They really have a great turnout and when I say great, I mean 18 to 25 per class per night, which is fantastic. So I told him that would be the only facility that I had, but I'd have to get approval from you. And I was concerned about the mats, because wrestlers have mats, and we do have a pageant group that's still there, but their last pageant will be the 1st of January, because our intention was to move them to the Rock School facility, but they chose not to do that. So because of our stage, they had their reasons, but whatever. So it was okay. I felt like and he had his coaches. I had to meet him here Monday. His coaches saw the facility. I spoke to him, concerned about the care of our facility. It's a thing now. Children like to tear things up, or it's a challenge. So I said, I'm actually going out on a limb, the gracious arm of grace here, to see if I can let you do this, because face it, it's an old facility. It's not, and we want to take care of it, and I definitely don't want damage done. So there is no real long-term. It actually would start the next 2 weeks, I think the 24th, or my dates are, I don't have my dates in front of me, but as soon as they can, they would do it 5 days a week, with the exception of days they have matches. They would practice from 3 to 5:30. They deliver them on a bus. I did question him about, now the coaches understand they cannot leave until every child is accounted for, because that's a thing now. We don't watch after our children, so I will not have them dumped in our lap. And when I have groups coming in, I have these other Pilates and Zumba classes, that will be showing up at 6. So they understood all that. So actually, I guess we'll be on a trial run for 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to have Park and Rec kind of run a little bit of checking on them, to make sure that we're there for the first little while, to make, they get familiar with the facility, and we know how many kids are going to be there. We know that, exactly, they know how to put it away, this type of thing. So as long as everybody plays right, but that same type of agreement would come into play for us, because, again, we've got a bunch of children there using the facility, and we want to make sure that they accept their responsibilities, the school does, for what happens at our place. So, Mr. Black should have been working on that, yeah.
He did, and that's also in your group. So basically, the county has 3 separate agreements, one for each school. I had Mr. Black just have us do one and include the facilities that Eric's told me that in the past the schools have used. So they use a slightly different font, but this more modernly looking font is the one from the school board. Basically, this is the ones to let us use their stuff. This other one is ours, and this would allow them to use our stuff. Let's see, this is actually the resolution that would approve all 4
I will point out that the only thing that we do make those groups do is to pay our deposit in case of damage. So that would really be the only change if we did a change, okay? And I'm not sure that we shouldn't require that deposit for certain, activities, food in our in our, you know, auditorium, things like that. We have a deposit and a cleaning deposit now, so.
We'll,
just the thought
we'll need to
process.
talk with the individual basis to see. I've asked Randy and them to go up there on the first day when the wrestling team begins to meet and have a conversation with the students and with the coaches and all, so they understand the history of the place and the care of that and that sort of thing. So we're, again, this is a control group. It's not just the general school population, but we want them to understand that this is a multi-use facility, that there's another group coming in right after them. They can't drag around after 5:30 because Zumba's got to get set up, and those mats are going to have to be rolled up and everything. So we do need to start, but basically, I've got this down here with the two, but in reality, it would be one, and it's this, because Mr. Black's put this resolution here together for us. It's 2410, that would be the correct number if it's approved?
Yes.
Okay, so, are there any, we did not get this, y'all didn't have all these details out before, we had to go through legal and everything, we want to make sure these things were in order, but is there, does anyone have a problem with go ahead and moving forward with this, especially in light of the fact the kids want to start wrestling practice, but is everybody,
Oh, we're good.
we're good, we're good, you guys good? Okay. Who would like to put that forward? Clintisha, you want to do that? Because I've got a full backfield here on this.
Sure. I got it.
Little football analogy
Is
there.
she gonna do both of them together?
There's only going to be one.
Oh, one, okay.
Because this one resolution covers all 4 documents. That's correct, is it?
Okay,
Is it
Yes.
Marie? Okay, all right. We had them separated before because we weren't sure exactly how that was going to fly. We're going to have, the Palmdale Fire District is asked to speak afterwards, so that we'll have them come and speak during the department heads and public comment section. Is there anything that needs to be added, and if not, we'll start the meeting, so.
no?
Does anyone need a break? Do we need to
Yes.
stop? Okay, so we're gonna, you do? Really? Okay, all right. Let's meet back here in about 5 minutes, and so we'll start about 10 after then, that'd be good. All right, thanks. Okay, I just want to make sure, earlier I couldn't hear you quite as well, I just want to make sure.
Oh, I wasn't standing near it.
Okay, we're good.
It's off now, but yes, it was.
All right, apologize for a little delay there. We had extra business in the pre-council, but at this time, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Pinson City Council for October 17th, 2024. Please rise for our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And should you have personal electric devices, please put them in silence at this time. Father, we thank you again for this evening and for allowing us to be able to meet here at this nice City Hall. We thank you especially, Father, for the many things that you have blessed us with and all the different activities that are going on here in our city. We thank you, Father, for the Butterbean and how successful that was, and for the Pride of the Valley, and for protecting folks during those events. Father, we thank you for our first responders and all the many things that they do. We thank you, Father, for the extra effort that they put forward out there on the front lines during the week and in the middle of the night and any other time that we may need them. Father, please be with the folks that have been impacted by these storms over the last several weeks. We know that that's put an extra load on these first responders, but continue to be with them. We ask that you would give us wisdom at this time, and that you would remain with us throughout this meeting. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. This time I'll try not to forget. Madam Clerk, can we have the roll call, please?
Counselor Irvin?
Here.
Counselor Walker?
Here.
Mayor Roberts?
Here.
Counselor Churchwell?
Here.
Counselor Kirkland?
Here.
Excellent. Is there a motion regarding the approval of the minutes from our October 3rd meeting?
Yes, I would like to offer a motion to approve and waive the reading of the minutes for October 3rd as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments, changes on that? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the minutes are approved. All right, I'm going to suspend the rules at this time because we've got some special guests here that we'd like to have you come forward. And first off, we'd like to have Mr. Mason from the Pinson Elementary School. Want to welcome you to Pinson, sir. We know you've been working for a couple of months, but hey.
Yes, sir. Good evening to Mayor Roberts and the council and the community here that's visiting today. Bring you greetings from Pinson Elementary. My name is Nino Mason. I just moved here from Auburn, Alabama. My family and I moved here to be closer to my wife's parents because they're getting a little older. This is my 28th year in education and my 21st year as a principal. I was a principal for 20 years at my previous school in Opelika City. At Pinson Elementary, we house grades pre-K through second. We have about 780 students at Pinson Elementary. So we have the primary students, so we do a lot of making sure that they learn how to write the names, making sure that they learn the basic math concepts, and most of all, we really try to work hard on them collaborating and working well with each other as far as learning how to share with the next student. I got a great faculty that I work with each day. I'm really enjoying the primary students. There's nothing best about my day to go down the hall and you see the kindergartners or first graders and everybody want to give you a high five or a fist bump. So, you know, that's very rewarding for me. On behalf of Pinson Elementary, we invite you to stop by. I can take you on a tour, or if you want to come by and have lunch with us, we encourage that because it's good for our students to see the citizens as well as our local agencies to come out and be visible within the schools. So on behalf of Pinson Elementary, it's been a joy for me the last 3 months. Look forward to working with our students and working in this community every day. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting me to come, as well as the citizens here in Pinson. Thank you all, and I'm really enjoying working here at Pinson Elementary.
Thank you.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Before he runs off, anybody have any questions? Or?
Also, Mrs. Irvin is our vice president on our PTA council.
Wait a minute, now we got a resident expert here now. So. Excellent, excellent. Well, then you guys can immediately get your information to us in a hurry then, so that's even better. So we appreciate you coming and being in our community. Thank you. Next, we have former Mayor Sanders, Hoyt Sanders. I believe you've got an update on a certain event, just a small gathering that took place a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Robbie asked me, he spent some time, we didn't have much time to talk, if you can imagine that, a couple weeks ago, but asked me to come and give some comments about the band program and particularly the Pride of the Valley. We do appreciate council's continued support for several years. Council has been kind enough to provide Public Works to monitor and assist with parking and shuttling, and we could not do it without them. So I appreciate Eric and his staff. In addition, as y'all talked earlier, we appreciate the funding of public safety, both through deputies and officers and the Palmerdale Fire Department. You know, second only to the Butterbean Festival, I believe, we are probably the largest event. We bring in excess of 5,000 visitors to the city of Pinson on that day, counting participants. You have that many people, you're going to have some medical emergencies. Now, fortunately, this year they were minor, but they are never minor if it's you or your child or a child under your charge. So we appreciate Palmerdale Fire. They were right on top of each and every issue, and we appreciate that. And so that really benefits the band program. The band program, I assume, is probably the largest collective program in the school. The high school currently has 135. Now, try transporting those, getting them with all of their shoes, trumpets, hats, plumes, bottles of water. Right now, we have 110 students in the 3 grades at Rudd. So we have a great number coming right behind. We appreciate the support of our transportation. Phoenix City, of course, was a bit of an anomaly going so far. We appreciate the funding of those buses. The transportation, as you can imagine, runs $10,000 to $15,000 a year for all 5 to 6 games, plus the competitions, depending on how far they are away. Going back to the competition, the topography of Pinson Valley High makes it very conducive for a band competition because it is reasonably level. Some of y'all may have been to campuses, high school campuses, where things are detached. Our campus, it makes it very conducive for a marching festival because we can roll or help transport instruments essentially from any parking lot to the 50-yard line. So that is a great thing that helps support our program. We also appreciate the tow trucks to qualified drivers. That's a big help for us, getting that equipment trailer. Just to kind of give you an overview of the past couple of years and expenses, but things the band program has funded. Of course, uniforms, instrument purchase and repair, transportation and equipment, things as simple as trailer tires. We had to have new trailer tires this year. Certain years we have the tuba bells. That's probably the most visible part of the band. $800 roughly, you can have those bells reshaped, re-lacquered. Over the past 3 years, we have been able to invest $18,000 in uniforms, and that's not a whole set. That's just the wear parts, added jackets, added bibs, and so forth like that. We do try, I know this is a similar song to some of you, but we do try to find slightly used or demo instruments as we can to save and maximize the dollars. The city purchased some drums a couple years ago when we supplemented that with some new drum carriers. So it's been a great partnership, and we do appreciate the continued direct and indirect funding of the band program. at the high school. I believe history tells us this was our 25th band competition. It started, we're told, in '99. We, of course, had to skip 2020 because of COVID. We try to improve. We have, the last 2 years, we have had 19 bands. I think last year we may have had 20, as I recall. We typically have a collegiate band and exhibition. That didn't work out this year, but usually we have, well, I shouldn't say usually, oftentimes we have UAB, but I think they were supporting their football team this year and couldn't come. But we often have a collegiate band and exhibition, so we'll try to have that back perhaps next year. So, at any rate, that's the Pride of the Valley and the band program report. We put Mayor Roberts to work loading some equipment the other day in the few minutes that he had, so we appreciate y'all's support through there.
So does anyone have any questions for?
I've never been able to attend due to other commitments, but every time I drive by and see all of it, it brings back some very fond memories from third something.
That's right, yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I was a marching chief, I think it was 3 years ago, perhaps 4. But yes, if you are interested or had band as your talent, as was mine, it's an enjoyable day and great to see the younger generation. Teamwork, fine arts, all those things that come into it. The competition also provides an opportunity. We draw bands. It varies from year to year, mostly from Blount, St. Clair, and Jefferson. We have had bands from further away. We typically attend Aniana, as we already have. We won 4 Superior trophies there. We will go to Pell City on Saturday, and that's the 2 we typically attend. There are others from time to time, depending on the schedule and other things going on.
Do they compete at that event?
Absolutely.
So was there first place, second place, or?
Well, it would take a little time to explain, but you're graded, 1 being superior, and then you get best in class, for example, dance line, drum major, percussion line. It's not quite as simple as perhaps a sporting event where it's winner take all at the end, but it's broken where each, a band could win 1, they might win 8 trophies over the course of, or at the end of the night. So, but yes, it is a competition event. Now the last 2 or 3 years have actually split our festival. So we have the 1 and 2A bands, and then we have a break. They depart. We have their awards. They depart. Then we have the 3 and 4A bands. We are typically on the 3 and 4A system, but it's based on performers on the field, not the school size. So you might have a very large school with a very small band, or vice versa. You might have a very small school with half the school in the band, and they might be 4A. So it's a little different than a sporting event, but yes, it is competition, and there are trophies, and we like to think there are no losers at the end, because it's teamwork and participation, and that sort of thing is taught, along with some character and other skills.
Well, I wish that, I've tried to describe, I know you wanted to be with us last time, and I tried to describe to the group what was going on up there. Sitting up here, I'm thinking, next year, y'all have got to get someone with some videography to go around and actually show the logistics that you guys do. It's quite a machine of operation up there. I was quite fascinated by what's going on. They are bringing in unbelievable amount of buses, unloading these kids, getting them, they have props and things that you don't customarily get to see necessarily at every football halftime show that are very elaborate, that these guys bring in on 18-wheelers and stuff. It was fascinating. Shockingly, I don't think there were any buses that collided up there. I said that it takes someone who has actually driven a bus to be able to maneuver that many buses into that small of a place up there. So anyway, it was even if you're not into music, it's just amazing to see all the different things going on. And it was, as you walked around the field, they had several different food vendors set up. Of course, y'all did your traditional concession stand, but you had other food vendors up there, so it's
Right,
very similar to
we
the.
have some food vendors that complement the base concession stand. I don't remember the exact count. Usually, just as a fun fact, usually we sell approximately 1,000 hamburgers or so,
Wow.
plus all the other things that go with that. And so, yeah, we have some vendors that do funnel cakes and waffle fries and some things that we don't to kind of complement our offering.
It was fun just walking around and all the different aromas. And when you got to the very end, it was actually the new Pride of the Valley T-shirt display, and you actually smelt new, fresh T-shirt printings around there. So it was an interactive olfactory experience up there too. So anyway, we really appreciate it. And I think you guys are a model of cooperation between the local government and helping out, and the fundraising by the parents, the involvement, and all there is just it's spectacular. So we appreciate that, and certainly, I'm sure you guys would be willing to pass those techniques along, and very good camaraderie up there, so,
It's a great partnership.
thank you. So I'll go ahead and reinstate the rules, and we'll move on to, speaking of Pride of the Valley, I think there's some money in there that needs to be paid to some entities regarding that. So, Ms. Irvin, on the payment of the bills.
Yes, I would like to offer a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $41,686.89.
Second.
Motion and a second. I think we talked about them in the pre-council, but I believe there's no biggies on there this time. Any questions? All in favor of approving the bill payment, say aye.
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 Any opposed? So we'll go ahead and pay those bills. Let's see, moving on to enhancements, we've got a couple of things going on. One of them is this coming Saturday from 9 to 12. We have our quarterly shred-a-thon, so anyone who's watching, I think it's out on our marquee also, to let everyone know you've got a couple of days here left to go ahead and get any of those papers that you need to have shredded, anything confidential or whatever that you're wanting to get rid of, bring it on down here. It may not last till noon. If the machine gets full, or if the truck gets full, they go ahead and leave early. So just be aware of that. If you show up at 11:30 and the truck's already gone, just know it was completely full. So I recommend getting down here early if it's something you really want to get out of your files. Next is the Veterans Day lunch, which we really enjoy doing every year. Again, it will be on Veterans Day, which is November the 11th. We'd like to invite any veterans from our area to reach out to us here at City Hall. Usually it's best just to call here at our regular number. And then, or if you are wanting to, you can email us at admin@thecityofpinson.com. So either one of those. We are asking, of course, we usually get to the name of the veteran, where you've served, and that sort of thing. They'll ask a few basic questions, and then whether or not you're going to be bringing a guest along with you. We have to get counts together for the food and all that we have there. But this year, we're also asking if folks will give their address. You do not have to live in the city limits to participate, but we are asking just to basically get a little mailing list together so that in the future we might be able to send these guys a note, these ladies and men that have served, a note of appreciation, or to let them know about future veterans-oriented events. So again, please go ahead and start signing up, because November 11th will be here very quickly. Next is the mayor's report, and so the first thing I'd like to mention is that yesterday was the monthly meeting of the Jefferson County Mayors Association. It was my opportunity to get to attend for the first time. It was held over in Fultondale, which was very nice. Of course, that was Mayor Cochran's hometown over in Fultondale. He had many neat stories from his time growing up and going to high school and everything over there. And all the mayors expressed their condolences to us here in Pinson regarding Joe's passing. They enjoyed his company when he was able to be over there just as much as we did. They also asked us, gave me this check for us to present to the high school. I spoke to Mr. Turner this afternoon to let him know what the scoop is, but I want to let you guys know, and I did get with our treasurer to make sure that we didn't lose track of this, but a check was presented from the Jefferson County Mayors Association in the name of Mayor Cochran to Pinson Valley High School in the amount of $5,000. So I know that Mr. Turner's already told me he's very excited. There's been several donations given in Joe's name. Up there at the school, we know how much he loved things at our schools. So we will be forwarding this check on to the correct folks. But anyway, we really appreciate the Mayor's Association supporting our schools in the name of Mayor Joe. So let's see. Next is I've been in contact with our friends at ALDOT. They were actually very friendly. They had their hands kind of full yesterday with that big accident on 459. I was on the phone with them, and I heard them in the background saying something about 459 is closed. Later, it was all over the news about the big wreck with the 18-wheelers, the hazardous material spill, the 5 hours of complete blockage, and everything else. Ours was nothing like that. I was talking to them about our street lights that are at our traffic lights. I know I've had several folks have asked me about that. And the good news is that I'm getting a list together, and they're going to come out and make those repairs. So if things start looking a little brighter at night at our intersections along the main highways, we can thank the folks at ALDOT for getting that taken care of. So hopefully that'll be done fairly soon. Let's see. Also, I met today. We had the Jefferson County Greenways Association quarterly meeting. Took place. So we talked about several things going on there. The only thing negative is that Ms. Sanford, Carly Sanford, who y'all have gotten to meet here before, she's actually leaving the organization. She's taking a job with EBSCO Media. They have a position over there where they actually do a lot of donations, so they need someone to kind of coordinate the donating. EBSCO's a big funder of the Greenways, so the good thing is that we'll have a friend that's commanding some of those funds, so that's a big plus. But she was very instrumental in the moving from the Birmingham Southern and over to the Greenways Commission, and also the forming of the Greenways Commission, where we've been able to pair up with the other parks. So this is. There's also some big news. I'm not at liberty to talk about it. That's going to be coming out probably by the next meeting regarding Turkey Creek, and that I know everyone will be very excited about. But again, it's not complete yet, so we can't really say anything, but hopefully this will transpire, and when it does, it'll be very exciting news. I did also want to say that I know that folks may have noticed that the budget has not been back on the agenda for a couple of nights, and a couple of meetings. That is not because we're not planning on having a budget. Working with the staff, we are working with Kevin, our accountant. There's several things that they want to consolidate and streamline, and things with the software, and let's see, what was the term there? The accounts themselves, actually the naming and all. They really need to have that for our audit. The auditors have asked about that. So we felt like if we fix that now, and the audit is just about to get underway, if we fix that now, that will actually help us to represent a budget moving forward. So I wanted y'all to know that it's still definitely, we're working on that. We're just working through some of that. Next, I'll move on to old business, and that is the fact, obviously, we have an open council seat. We're still sitting in our compact seating arrangement here. We didn't want to have to wave way down at John and Glenda for a little bit anyway, but we are going to find a new occupant for my old seat on that. And so basically we want to have, and Mr. Church will clarify something during the break, but technically what we're going to have is a call for applications. That does not mean to use your telephone and call City Hall for an application. What it means is that we are opening it up to the public, to any citizens that meet the requirements, which means you must be a qualified voter within the city limits of Pinson. If you're interested in the position, to please send us a letter, cover letter, just stating the fact that you're interested in applying for the job, along with a current resume, so that we might get to know a little bit more about you for consideration. And I'm sure there'll be interest by individual council members to talk to some folks and see, see what comes about. I've already had a few people have already contacted me, asking me about the process. I told them I'd be making this announcement tonight. So this is a very similar scenario that we used back when Ms. Irvin came and joined us on the council. So we would like to have those in. Oh, they need to be sent not to me or a member of council, although you're free to copy them, copy one of us, but it needs to be sent to our clerk, M. Turner at thecityofpinson.com, or you can use that admin at thecityofpinson.com if you want to email it, or you can call City Hall and they'll let you know our addresses and things, or drop it by City Hall in person. But just make sure it's addressed to Ms. Turner here so that she will have that and can get it to us.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to close those applications on October 31st?
Actually, I talked to the clerk about it, and very close to that, we were looking at November what was that date? Was it 4th? It's just that following week. We're going to give them through the weekend, the 4th, November the 4th.
Yeah.
So yes, that's the other thing. It needs to be here by 5 p.m. on November the 4th. Thanks. Next is Ms. Kirkland.
Yes. I would like to offer a motion to approve outsourcing of our payroll with ADP.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. So during our pre-council, we had an extensive conversation, ran us a little bit long there with our staff regarding a due diligence that they've done for finding us a vendor to do the payroll. And was there any other questions, comments, concerns about this? So, all right. Let's see. I think that was we had that in on time. So I'll just call for a voice vote unless anybody objects. Motion to approve this outsourcing. Is it? And we did get a second, Madam Clerk. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we will move forward. The staff will go ahead and get that underway. Next, moving on to new business. Ms. Glenda, I think you've got.
Yes, I would like to offer a motion to create a new bank account regarding our outsourcing payroll.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion is second there. Madam Clerk, we said we did not have to do paperwork on that. The motion was fine.
Right. 'Cause
Okay.
he's passed through.
All right, so again, we want to, as part of this, we need to have a separate bank account to work with the ADP folks, and so this would allow us to be able to create a new account just specifically for payroll operations there on that. Any further discussion on that? Madam Clerk, I do want to get a roll call vote on that one. Just the banks kind of like these things.
Okay. Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Excellent. So that motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is something, Mr. Walker, on breast cancer awareness, I think.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to designate October 24th, 2024 as Turn Pinson Pink Day.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second on that. So we traditionally pick a day. A lot of times we'll pick the one, we missed that on our last meeting. A lot of times we'll try to make it on the same day as our second meeting of the month. But we had a request from some folks up at the elementary school that they've got some big plans going on where they want to do what they're calling a pink out. So they asked about doing it on the 24th. So we said, hey, that might be a good date. So we hope everyone will put up their pink bows and show their support for breast cancer awareness. My late mother-in-law, she was a breast cancer survivor, and so once you experience that, then you certainly understand the importance of recognizing those folks as they go through that challenge. So we appreciate that. All in favor of the Turn Pinson Pink motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Certainly none would be opposed to that, and so that carries. Mr. Churchwell.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we got a resolution concerning various surplus property that we want to try to get rid of. Eric presented the information in the pre-meeting. So I would like to offer a resolution concerning various surplus property. Whereas the city owns the following items, which we have a list here. Whereas these items are no longer needed for public or municipal purposes. Whereas 1143-56 of the Code of Alabama authorizes the city council to dispose of unneeded personal property. Therefore, be it resolved by the city council of the city of Pinson, Alabama, while in regular session on October the 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m. as follows. The mayor is authorized on behalf of the city to sell the surplus items for,
So, Madam Clerk, we obviously don't know, since these will be either auctioned off or given away, we don't know the amount, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if Eric had an amount to go with it, or,
We have no idea what the value may bring on these items, so.
so,
Is it a minimum for the vehicle?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, well, it's a full list, so can we just put a general amount, and then it would be the total of all those things together? Is that, would be appropriate?
yes.
Okay, so why don't we put down, 500, you think $500, for all the items is the bare minimum we would accept? We're not gonna sell them as individuals, though, so that's the reason, I mean, we'll sell them individually.
Why
If you
not?
wanna come forward, you can talk for a minute.
We should get more than that, shouldn't we?
Well, we're gonna do it by bid, so, I would hope that we would. I don't know that we need a dollar amount, quite frankly. It can be for.
If we don't, I just said set a minimum. I was thinking just for the automotive vehicles that were there, 500 each minimum, and anything above that, because I'm surely they're worth 500 in scrap, you know, if they don't.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would assume the same thing for those real mowers, you know, they're not, they're pretty big. It's not,
So
rotary
if I
mowers.
go ahead, if we just add it on, you got a little extra blank over here on this listing, so I could just go ahead and write down $500 for each one of these items down there, and
I
if they
think so.
didn't sell, then we bring that
Yeah.
back to council?
And if you want to leave the helmet portion,
I was gonna,
Yeah,
we're gonna
blank.
add in, I'll mention the helmets here in just a
Yeah,
moment, but
okay.
I was gonna leave those at $0, and I'll explain why.
okay.
All right, so if, John, I'll let you finish, and then I'll clarify this see attached list.
All right, to sell the surplus items for so much, okay. The mayor is authorized to take actions and execute any and all further documents as may be necessary to effect and carry out the transactions contemplated by this resolution.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. So on this list, we have got two lawnmowers and 3 vehicles. I've amended the list here, I'll show it to the clerk, for $500 for minimum for each one of the items on there. There's also an item I need y'all to add on there from Park and Rec, which we have a unknown but very large quantity of football helmets that can no longer be certified, so they're not safe for the kids to wear during football games. I would like to list those at $0. We may, there may be an arts and crafts future for these helmets, depending on some interest from the library staff, and then again, there may be some from Park and Rec, perhaps as trophy-type items or something to give away to the current football players up at the stadium. If that's acceptable to everyone, then that's the package between John's motion and, is there a second? We got a second, okay.
did.
Is everybody good with the proposal as presented? Okay. This, since there's so many items, and we didn't have the items together before the meeting tonight, Madam Clerk, I want a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
All right, so that resolution passes as 24-09 unanimously. We will take appropriate actions and see what's going on. So as far as for dispensing with those items, and it may be something you may see on our website or on another website, or we'll check with some other governmental agencies to make sure there's not a mutual aid need out there for them. Let's see, Ms. Irvin, I believe we've got some intergovernmental agreements.
Yes, I would like to offer a motion, or not a motion, I would like to offer a resolution concerning agreements with the Jefferson County Board of Education allowing for the mutual use of school and city facilities.
So we spent a good bit, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we spent a decent amount of time on this in the pre-council also. Basically, the city of Pinson uses several Jefferson County Board of Education facilities, our local schools, in the course of our youth sports. They've been nice enough to let us use those up there. We do need to get some agreements in place for those. And then the local schools also on occasion need to use some city facilities, which we've always in the past allowed them to be able to use, but we need to get some paperwork in there for those. So basically we have 4 agreements, 3 from the Board of Education. They were specific to each location, and then 1 from us, where we basically, Mr. Black has put it together where the different facilities that the schools have used in the past, I had him list those on there. So those are the 4 agreements that we would have that would be part of this resolution. So any discussion or any concerns or anything about that? Okay, Madam Clerk, need another, let's see here. This was a little bit out there, so I think we should have a unanimous consent first before we vote.
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Okay, so again, we were still formulating exactly how to get all this and had legal going through it before a couple of days ago, so we just got that together this afternoon. So now, Madam Clerk, a roll call vote on the resolution as presented.
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
Excellent. Those 2, basically, this motion to allow the PVHS wrestling team is actually now part of that resolution that rolls back into that. We had something here that came up in between, which we realized we'd left off, and Ms. Irvin, you were going to present that.
Yes, I would like to offer a motion to approve conference attendance for council and staff for the 2024 National League of Cities Convention or Summit.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so if I might add, if we could possibly amend that, there also are some other conferences that the staff is needing to attend, especially with the elections coming up and everything, and theirs are also next month too. So could we modify your motion to include conference attendant for council and staff and just leave off the last part? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Second's good with that too?
Yes.
Okay. Does everyone understand the new motion? All right, any discussion? Okay. That also obviously barely made the 5-minute rule, much less the 48-hour. So, Madam Clerk, motion to consider, and then,
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
And now a roll call vote on the actual motion.
Counselor Irvin?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Churchwell?
Yes.
Counselor Kirkland?
Yes.
All right, so we got that set, so we can go ahead and process that. There's been some questions about getting some reservations and getting people set up on that, so we weren't sure. We might have done it earlier in the year, but we we weren't sure, so we thought we might better go back and redo it.
Probably might be a good idea to confirm, since it's in Tampa, the next one's in Tampa, that they're able to support that.
I did speak with another adjacent cities council person. He called me the other day, and I asked him that same question, and Mayor Scott, I believe, is on one of the panels down there, and he had gotten word that they were spared and that the conference would still be going on, so
Fair enough.
that was good. I wondered the same thing as I watched that hurricane come through. I thought, well, we might be hosting it in Pinson this year, so. All right, so anything else from the dais before I call for department heads and public comment?
I would just like to make a comment on the budget.
Okay.
I understand what's going on behind the scenes. It's not gonna change the numbers. The bucket they go in, it's not gonna change the numbers. Bucket that it goes in may change, but the number's gonna stay the same. And I would like to see a budget for approval at the next meeting.
Well, again, like I say, we're working through some of those. We have found some areas where we need to make some adjustments that we weren't aware of, some areas that we've had a few expenses change. We've had some changes with our workman's compensation and things that have occurred in the time period when we first started working on this. So we want to try to include those and reflect those back into the budget at this time. So, but there's a few different spots in there on that too.
Well, just say the categories are there for that today, I'm sure. The number for that may change because like you said, the cost may change.
Yeah.
But the numbers are essentially gonna be the same. I think we could have a budget presented by the next meeting to be approved. That's my feeling.
That's cool. Anyone else have comment on that or any other thing before we move on?
No?
Okay, good. I would like to call first, though, for our third special guest. I was going to let you come up. I was going to let the special guest go first, so, okay. Mary Kay, would you like to come up? And we have someone that's going to be introduced tonight, so we want to make sure that, please, as usual, give your name and address for the clerk's
Mary
records.
Kay Graham, 5010 Lauren Lane, Pinson, Alabama, 35126. And President of the Fire Board is what capacity I'm addressing you in this evening. I wanted to make the council aware that we have a new interim fire chief, which is Taylor Hancock, and he will report to you and will be reporting to you on a regular basis, and will be available for you if you want to stop by. He does work at one other fire department in Homewood, so, but other than those obligations, he's going to be there. And anybody's welcome to visit with Taylor. He's going to do an excellent job for us. So, any questions
Chief,
for me?
you want to come up and say a couple of words here? So,
And be nice to him.
Please do. I'm not really a public speaker of any sort.
that's okay. But you do know a lot about fires and rescue and
That's my expertise.
extraction and all that?
Yes,
kind-
sir.
Okay, that's what we want.
Well, Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here this evening and speak with you. I've been a firefighter and paramedic with Palmerdale specifically for 12 years now. I've been doing it professionally for 15. So I really do know how the career works and such. Now I'll be taking an administrative role that I'm not used to, but I look forward to working with you, and I've been in touch with Centerpoint Fire Department. I'll be working very closely with them, and I'm really excited about some of the ideas that we have to make improvements, and not only for our employees, but for the citizens that we serve. And I really want to thank you all for inviting me here. So.
Well, Chief Horn's also here, so I do want to make sure you guys know each other very well. And,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I spoke with him today, so that's right.
Excellent.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and I know if you've been there for 12 years, I know you're already, how close you guys work together is extremely valuable to the citizens, so we appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir,
So,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you very
questions for the
much.
chief?
No,
You got to be nice, though, he just asked.
welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, appreciate it. Chief Warren? Yeah. I can make you the fourth special speaker if you want to be.
I'm just gonna tell her on there. I have talked to Chief Hancock today on the phone. We talked for about 45 minutes.
Excellent.
They have a great leader that's gonna lead that department forward. Has the same beliefs that I do. It doesn't matter what it says on the side of that fire truck. We all took an oath, and y'all have heard this before from me. We've all took an oath to serve the citizens. It does not matter. Those people that we had to wreck down 79 last Friday, it did not matter who we were there. And I told Mr. Berry this at a meeting that I saw him at luncheon. They had a wreck Friday night, and we sent an engine, a rescue, and 2 battalions and our tech unit. They had to cut a guy out. We had to land a helicopter. So we're going to work very good together. I've known him for a long time, and he will be a great leader for that department moving forward. Thank you.
Excellent, appreciate it. Chief, everything good down at Center Point?
That's correct.
Excellent. Excellent. Eric? They were in uniform, we thought they'd get to go first, and we'd already heard from you.
Well, this is my last one, so I have up in front of you, as you
Wow,
recall.
that's fine print.
Yeah, I tried to blow it up, I couldn't do it. As you recall, we received a grant a year ago. We applied for it, received it from Innovate Alabama. It's for, to help, and I'm just going to read this. This is thank you. Eric couldn't do it, but Heather could. We're a team, okay? So this is actually a news release that's been sent to the Trussville Tribune from our EFP, our provider. EFP Broadband, I'll tell you a little bit about them. EFP Broadband is an Alabama-based company whose partners previously founded and led what became the nation's largest fixed wireless network serving K through 12 public school systems. EFP Broadband implements leading-edge technologies for smart cities and smart campuses, deploys broadband networks, designs esports venues, bolsters cybersecurity plans, and installs AV and technology solutions on behalf of cities and towns, nonprofits, colleges and universities, and business enterprises. Alabama, the Innovate Alabama Network was formed so that, and the governor funded this so that we could bring internet access, free internet access to rural areas. We fit the bill perfectly. Actually, the city of Clay is the one that tipped me off to it. We applied for a $250,000 grant. We got $150,000. So what we have now in place is for anyone's use, and it's partitioned off for city use. There's a city private side, and there's a public side. As anyone drives into the Rock School Center, Triangle Park, the Burger King parking lot, all that is lit up with free internet. Same with Bicentennial Park, the sports complex, and Palmerdale Homestead Community Center. The idea was that we provided, there's a lot of people, that can't afford, internet's not free, you know that, especially for the access. This is high speed, it's, there's 2G, we have the 5G, but there's plenty of bandwidth there. So when you go out, when you go through that red light, you can see it on your phone. This press release reads, the city of Pinson earned one of the state's top honors for economic innovation by being admitted to the Innovate Alabama Network and be awarded 2 grants as seed money to launch an innovation project. This competitive designation is awarded to Alabama communities supporting innovation and the knowledge economy. The program is administered by Innovate Alabama, which is a statewide public-private partnership focused on the entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. The organization was formed as a result of Governor Kay Ivey's Alabama Initiative Innovation Commission in 2021 to implement the commission's recommendations. The Innovate Alabama Network serves as a comprehensive resource that connects communities, nonprofits, and higher education institutions across the state who are fostering innovation in their own backyard. Through this designation program, Innovate Alabama recognizes those who are shaping the state's ecosystem. Penson's Innovate Alabama Network designation comes with a financial reward. It's an honor to be recognized for the work, well, excuse me, that's what I told them. We utilize the grant funding to expand extended wireless Wi-Fi access through multiple access points to bolster connectivity in outdoor recreational parks and gathering places, including Bicentennial Park, Triangle Park, Penson's historic Rock School Center, Palmerdale Homestead Community Center, and the Penson Sports Complex. The idea was to have this turned on before the Butterbean, and it was, so that all the vendors could access this. So anybody that ran a card access, they had that free access, and it was there. The grant-funded network, designed and deployed by Pelham-based EFP Broadband, which I told you about, brings a positive impact on the over 7,000 residents of Penson, hundreds of business owners, and the 45,000 plus visitors and 200 plus vendors who come to the area for the annual Butterbean Festival, ranked one of the 100 best festivals in the United States. And thousands who come to the other area attractions each year, like Turkey Creek Nature Preserve and environmental education program. So, and you can read the last paragraph. We also, there's another round of funding, and the initial plan I wanted was to send this to, or was to expand that to the Food Giant parking lot, because basically that's a very populated area. So if we get the next extension of grants, because we're actually one of 27 towns and cities that got awarded this. So 27 out of 800 that applied. So that's, way to go, Penson, you know. So we're going to try to move that on farther up, and I think it's a great feather in our cap. I really am proud of the ability that we're able to provide that, because, you know, the economic stresses that people face now, this is big, and students that don't have internet access, and I know they come and utilize our library for that very reason. So this will be a great asset. So I'm very proud of that, and very proud of our community, and wanted y'all to see. This should go in the Trussville Tribune within the next printing. So, well, we delivered it to them, and I think they will. You know? That's positive news. We need positive news, don't we? So, all right. Just wanted you guys to know. So,
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. I don't, obviously that's big. Getting and we've been talking about it for a while, about when we were awarded the grant, the work that the staff did, especially Eric in spearheading putting all this together, the logistics of a project like that. Even though we had the professionals involved, the interaction with our staff was quite heavy, and it's something that our city should be proud of. Again, we are a very small subset of all the cities in Alabama who applied. We were one of the ones that got it, and I think it's through Eric and his team's hard work that made us attractive to the grant awarders. So we're really thankful for him doing that, and let everybody get a chance to crank that thing up. And if you happen to be running a little low on your data package, if you happen to be blessed with one of those on your phone, if you're running a little low, just switch on over to the new hotspot when you're in one of those locations, and then enjoy that. Compliments of the city of Penson. So I believe we're going to have a splash page that'll come up on there and let folks know when they join that, again, welcome to Penson. So they'll know that we're offering high-tech stuff around here too. So thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to say anything? Oh, yes. Oh, good. I'm glad you came up, because when I thought high-tech, I thought, okay, here we go. I will say this. I was over at the library yesterday, and it was a hub of activity over there. I think every computer station was filled, and the several school kids. I know that's a popular window of opportunity there right after school and all. The place was really a happening joint. So as Mr. Keith of your staff said, hey, this is the place to be. So it was fun.
Yes, so my name's Allison Scanlon. I'm the director of the Pinson Public Library. Yeah, we're really excited about the growth of internet access in the city. That is a huge issue in this area of the county, not just Pinson, but also surrounding areas. So to give people more access is always a good thing. That's fantastic news. That's like really, really a big deal. So I'm very excited about that. And kudos to Eric and his crew for getting all that together. So I'm just here to share about a couple of things. We have some new faces on our staff at the library. We've had a vacancy this summer, and we've had a couple of shift around and some people being promoted and some new fields and all that kind of stuff. So Kayla Kirkwood, who has been with the library since 2018, is now joined our youth department. She started as a page, became a youth or a library assistant, and now she is a youth assistant to the library. So she, along with our other youth assistant, Jessica Reed, will be running all of our youth programs for the kiddos, so all the fun stuff that all the families like to come to. In addition, Noelia Ambrice, who was our page, she's been with us since 2021. She has been promoted to library assistant, so you will see her at the front desk now. And ella habla español. She does speak Spanish. She is bilingual, and we are over the moon to have that kind of access and break down that language barrier that a lot of people in our community also face and make the library a more welcoming place to everyone. So we're excited to have Noelia move in as well, move up, I should say. And we have a new page, Kendlin Spencer, who has been with the city for I don't even know how long, but she's now the library's. She's now working at the library, and we're very happy to have her. And so now we are fully staffed and good to go as we go into our winter fun, fall fun opportunities. On that note, Monday, we have a book fair at the library. I have a flyer. I did bring some flyers. They're by where the agendas are for the meeting if anyone wants to pick one up. Not affiliated with Scholastic. It is a Pinson specific book fair. It will be Monday the 21st from 9 a.m. to 7, and also the 22nd, that Tuesday, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We have weeded from the library's collection a lot of picture books, probably close to 700 titles. They're all going to be available at just $1 each, so please come get some books for upcoming holidays, for kids, or just like build up your own library at home. We're going to have a lot of those. These are books that are in excellent conditions. They just don't quite fit physically in our library any longer, and we don't want to run out of space. So weeding collection is a very important part of library work. So we have lots and lots of books available. We'll also have some posters and some fun trinkets and stuff. If you come to the book fair in costume, you will also get a discount and or bonus. So keep that in mind. Come dressed in your Halloween costumes and get that as well. And lastly, what I have is staying on the Halloween ghost theme, we have our upcoming Boo Bash, which is an event that the library and the Parks and Recreation Department put on together. That is going to be Friday, October the 25th from 5 until 7. This is a family-friendly fall festival. We have activities, crafts, candy, and more. The first year it's at the Rock School Center and the library all in together. The first year we had about 1,000 people attend this event. Last year we had about 850 people attend. So it is a big event. Come in your costumes, get ready to have fun. We do have spots for local community organizations, groups, churches who would like to be a part of that event and set up and give out candy or trinkets or do an activity with the families. Oh, yes, yeah, fire departments, absolutely. Any organization that would, council, city hall, public works, public safety, zoning. Anyway, so we have lots of these volunteer organizations that come in and they hand out things as well to the families, and we're gonna have food trucks there. It's gonna be a huge fun event. Just FYI, the library is gonna close a little early that day at 2 o'clock so we can all be available to get everything ready before the event. Our teen advisory board has a huge part in this. These are our teen volunteers. They decorate the hallway from the rock school to the library, and they have a theme each year, and they have been working so hard on it this year, and I'm really excited for y'all to see all the hard work they've put into it. And it's going to be a great time, and we really appreciate working with the Parks and Recreation Department to make this happen, because it's a really good opportunity to bring a lot of people together in Pinson, and we're really happy to do that. Does anybody have any questions?
No, you're doing a great job, Ellen.
Thank you.
So we,
What's your costume gonna be, Robbie?
I'm not sure about that, but that gives you a chance to preview those costumes, I guess, at the book fair,
Book
but
fair, yes.
we got till the 25th to get those completely ready,
Yes,
so,
that's correct.
on that. That's very exciting. We appreciate that. a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks. Be careful how they, we're trying to draft you into the costume and giveaway section there.
I know, yeah. We had a little, Spook the Lake at Smith Lake this weekend. I had a little
okay.
costume thing, so. I'm Hal Ferris, building official, City of Pinson, Mayor Roberts, Council. Just want to give you an update on what's going on in the City of Pinson. The demolition of the Winn-Dixie is about 90% complete. Aldi's, they've already started doing some concrete work and stuff in there. We've got 16 new homes fixing to start in Hunters Point. They're pulling their permits for it right now. And we got several other homes that have been, plans have been submitted for that here in the Pinson area, new homes going up. And we have tons of renovations going on in the area. So, any questions?
Things are still happening then.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's still rolling. Everything's really picking up. We also have Wendy's Hamburgers. I'm reviewing plans for it right now. We also have Domino's Pizzas coming in. So that's, another pizza place. But
We all get hungry around here, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be good.
one other thing I do have, my vehicle is died on me. The transmission is gone. I took it to the Ford place. They gave me an estimate. It's gonna be a little over $7,200 to get it fixed. And it's 2011 Ford, so, we may want to look at eventually getting another vehicle or something along that line, so.
Did you get with the operations director on transmission exchange program and stuff?
No, but I mean, Chris one of his vehicles is doing the same thing. The transmission's messing up on his too, so.
Well, I was thinking, since those are both Fords, I thought we could just swap them out, but I guess
Yeah.
that won't work, so.
We've only got one good one right now, because I'm afraid one of those is the same thing as his.
Yeah. Yeah, my torque converter went out on mine. It's shredded, so.
Okay.
But anyway, so I may be leasing my car to the city to do inspections and stuff, so.
I understand, I know what you're talking about, so. Well, I'm sure we'll get a look at that and make sure you,
Okay.
I'm not sure we've got any of those bicycles still left around, but that could be a little, it'd be rough and difficult. Winter is coming up,
We
so.
need to get with the grain program, get with a new electric vehicle. and
Electric,
That way, we get good discount on one, and, it'd work.
That'd be nice.
Speaking of Aldi's, what's gonna be on the other side? I heard it's
Well,
gonna be Gold's Gym. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
No.
I
I didn't think
talked-
so.
Actually, there was someone there from Aldi's yesterday when I went and did an inspection, and I talked with him, and he said that they are working on trying to get some businesses in there. I told him, like a Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply, anything like that would be awesome right there. So he said he knows a guy at Tractor Supply, so, it's a fairly large space, so it would be good for something like that.
Well, we know people are excited about that Aldi because they actually are now already calling City Hall, which this isn't our normal affair, but folks call up here apparently to find out all kinds of questions. I know the library fields these kind of questions, but they called to see, was the Aldi open? I already The next question, I think, was going to be, what specials did they have on something?
No.
Whoa, they're not quite there yet.
We still got a little ways to go. Like I said, we got the plans on for Wendy's Hamburgers. It's gonna be in the same parking lot as the Aldi's is. And so I'm reviewing those plans right now to okay them, and that should be starting here fairly soon. So,
Excellent, excellent.
any questions?
Thanks, Hal. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's great to hear from these department heads. We get to know what's happening around this place. So, anyone else, or we'll call it an evening? I think I'm going to take that as a strong hint, and we might be able to catch the second half of a big football game that's going on tonight. Bo Nix is playing for the Saints on Prime TV, and he's going up he plays for the Broncos, and the Saints have Kool-Aid McKinstry on the other side, so they'll be facing off against each other, former teammates here at Pinson Valley. So they were on the opposite sides in their college days too, so I'm sure they'll pick right back up where they left off. But anyway, that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is hereby adjourned at 8:17 p.m. That one doesn't knock as good as the last one.
8:17.
Okay, mine got out of order here. Did you need to staple any of yours?